Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an absolutely fantastic episode of Bar Talk. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Happy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it is that you are listening to this. I hope it is the absolute best day ever. And remember, guys, you're not having a good day, turn it around. You have the power to do that. Okay, so today's topic is about cancel culture. Okay, before we get into that, let me go ahead and light my candle and not set my house on fire. Okay, guys, I finally got more candles from Light Your Way, which I'm super excited about. We are actually in the midst right now of working on a signature scent. It's probably going to be 2, so look out for that in the upcoming weeks. But right now, from LYW, I am burning the Kindred, which is pomegranate, pine, vanilla, and clove. I absolutely love it. It makes my home smell so warm, so fuzzy, and so beautiful. So guys, remember, head on over there to get 20% off your next order using promo code BARTALK20. Their Instagram handle is at LYW Candles and their website is lywcandles.com. Okay, so head on over there, look at some of their scents. You're going to love them. Okay. I didn't want to talk about this today because I've been very angry the last week. Okay, I think everyone last week had a really bad week. I'm really making myself kind of look a little strange. I don't care though. I follow the universe. That's kind of my calendar. I don't know it like to the T, but I do know that what happens in the universe, it affects us. Okay. And Mercury's in retrograde. You guys have probably heard that. It just means that there's kind of a lot of shifts in the planets and stuff. I still don't fully understand it, but I know that it affects me. And last week it affected me. It was like one storm after another. And I was like, oh my Lord, good God, help me. What is happening? So without getting into all of the kind of grueling details of all of it, what it basically came down to was it came down to cancel culture. So I'm not sure for those of you who are listening or watching if you've ever heard of that phrase, but basically what cancel culture means is canceling a person's point of view because you don't agree with them. I don't know when this happened. I kind of think it happened probably within the last 4 or 5 years, somewhere around there. Maybe it happened before then. I just never paid attention to it. Not really sure. But guys, at the end of the day, I crave different perspectives. I crave different points of view because I always want to learn. I always want to grow, and I always want to be better than I was today. I want to be a better person tomorrow than I am right now. And I hope I am, okay? This notion of cancel culture though, I don't think people realize is the worst thing that our society could be doing. And here's why. Let me go ahead and kind of break it down for you. I work at my family's bar, okay? And I have a range of clientele, to say the least. And one of the things I always do with them is I talk to them. I love having conversations with them. Sometimes they're light conversations. Sometimes we're talking about who has the best chicken wings in the city. Sometimes we're breaking down sports. We're talking about the White Sox bullpen. And then sometimes we go heavy, and sometimes we talk about politics, and sometimes we talk about life and things that bother us. And the one thing I always say to all of my customers when I come in is I will hear you out because I want to understand where you're coming from. But you got to hear me out too. Like, let's hear each other out. And this has been something I've been doing now with customers. And what I have found is we can sit down and talk, and I can understand why Bob and Jane view life the way that they view life. I may not view life the same way as Bob and Jane, but learning about Bob and Jane and everything that they've gone through in life has made me realize why they view life the way they do. So let me give you a kind of clear-cut example, okay? Because I think that this just kind of goes into politics. This last year, not last year, the last four or 5 years, there has been this big emphasis on like, if you don't line up with my viewpoints, you can't be friends with me. I don't want you in my life. Get out. And I think that that is just terrible. Like my mom was like, Jenna, we used to never talk about politics. So the fact that this is now what we're talking about and it's ruining friendships is terrible. And it got me thinking. One of my best friends, I've known her since I was 3 years old. She was one of my very first friends. Her and I do not line up on the same political views, let's say. Okay. This is not a political podcast, but again, this scenario will make sense. So stay with me. She is a correctional officer for Cook County, and her soon-to-be husband is a cop for CPD, for the Chicago Police Department. What the two of them see, I will never comprehend. I will never understand. I won't. And that's okay. I understand why they are supportive in the ways that they are supportive. I understand why they view things the way that they view them. And I also realize that it doesn't make them bad people. Like, they are two great, amazing people. We may not see things eye to eye, but because of everything that has happened to the two of them in their life, it has led them to believe what they believe. And we're still in a era of life right now where we're constantly growing and we're constantly evolving. Okay. That's the first example. The reason why I'm saying all of this, guys, is because I went on a podcast week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, by Alex Wilder, called The Motivation Magnetic. I met Alex through a Facebook group, and we talked about the Facebook group. Yeah. Anyways, he and I talked about what was going on with the NWHL and Erika Nardini. So I know not everyone who listens to this is necessarily a sports person. So I will try to briefly explain to you a very kind of complex, I think, situation. Erika Nardini is the CEO of Barstool Sports. She gets a lot of crap for being a woman with Barstool because, people view Barstool as sexist and misogynistic and racist. And, like, again, you believe whatever you want to believe. And that's fine. At the end of the day, I think they're a satire website. I just think they do funny things. But I enjoy listening to Erika's podcast because my thought was, I'm a journalist at the end of the day. And as a journalist, it is my job to hear different perspectives. I don't have to like them. I don't have to agree with them, but I want to understand them. And it's very hard to do, don't get me wrong, but I have found that I have the most beautiful conversations when I'm talking about things that, kind of make me a little uncomfortable, because that's where I learn, that's where I grow. So Erika has been a big advocate for women's hockey. For those of you who don't know what the NWHL is, because a lot of people in America and in Canada didn't know what it was. The NWHL stands for the National Women's Hockey League. Okay. Journalist went at Erika and basically said, like, we don't want you here. We don't want your support. Erika was doing a lot of this kind of like pro bono, so to speak. And I was enraged. And the reason why, guys, I was enraged is because of the following. I used to be an athlete. I think I'll always be an athlete because it was a big part of my DNA. And I was really good. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to talk about my glory days because I think my better days are upon me. But I was really good once upon a time. And I remember being a woman, being a teenager, being a young adult who played volleyball. Um, I won awards. I won championships. I had my name in the paper. I had recognition. I worked my fucking ass off. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter because anything I did wasn't good enough. The guys just got the spotlight. Okay. My high school that I went to, we were a predominantly basketball driven high school. So I could literally win an award that week or whatever it was. And the guys' basketball team could win a game on Tuesday night and get free breakfast on fucking Wednesday morning. They were the ones who got the feature stories. They were the ones who got the spotlight. They were the ones that people wanted to know about. And I just remember thinking, like, if I am like one of the best people in doing what I do and I feel like this, how does everyone else feel? How do all of the other women feel? Because even like our volleyball program at my high school, like we were one of the better women's programs. The club team that I played for, we were one of the best in the state. Um, it just bothered me. And I remember saying to myself, you know, as I got older and you realize that you can't necessarily play anymore. I'm in the process right now, guys, of writing my story, and I'm going to share it to you guys on here. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but it's a story that's a decade in the making, so it's going to take some time. When I finally stopped playing because I was forced to stop playing, I wanted to get involved in those leagues. So I would follow the AVP, and you know, just other leagues, just like trying to learn from these other leagues. And I remember, I believe it was Carrie Walsh Jennings. So for anyone who doesn't know, Carrie Walsh Jennings is an a gold Olympic medalist in beach volleyball. She's one of the best beach volleyball players to ever play the game, period. She said something in an interview, and I don't remember it verbatim, but the scenario of it was, how do you expect us to grow this game if these athletes can't be full-time athletes? Now, a lot of these women's sports leagues don't facilitate enough money like the men's leagues, okay? So the men's leagues get all this money, and these guys can be full-time athletes and put all of their time and energy into growing the game, into bettering themselves into better athletes, which therefore grows the game. Now, if women cannot be full-time athletes because they do not make enough money to be a full-time athlete, guess what? You got to get a job. So there are women who, on top of being a full-time athlete, also have a job because they need insurance and because they need to pay the bills. Some of them have kids and they need to take care of them. Now, I want you to think about that and let it sink in. How the hell is the game supposed to grow? How are these women supposed to be full-time athletes if they don't have enough money to do it? You are setting them up for failure. And that's just what I kept coming back to. And I was like, okay, how do you get these women to make more money? Because at the end of the day, if they can make more money, I mean, they don't need, I hope one day they get like, you know, a few $1,000,000 playing the sport. That's what I want. I want that for them. But how do they make enough money now to be financially stable and live the life that they need to live and get better doing it? And I thought, well, people need to know about them, sell them, highlight them. If there's one thing that any of the big leagues do, NFL, NBA, and MLB, you can throw the NHL in there. The NBA does the best at it. And the NBA highlights players, they don't highlight teams. If you ever go to watch a basketball game, or just watch it when they preview it on ESPN. It's always LeBron James versus Steph Curry. And then it's the Lakers versus Golden State. They don't ever lead with the team first. They lead with the player first. They sell players. They sell the likeliness of the players. And in return of selling the likeliness of the players, these players have buku bucks in their bank accounts. And they are able to be full-time athletes because of their likeliness. So again, light bulb, ding. Sell the girls. Sounds weird. But I think you get where I'm going with this. Like, if people can learn who these women are, maybe that helps brand deals, sponsorships, partnerships, where they can make enough money to be a full-time athlete. And what bothers me about this whole NWHL thing is these, again, I don't know all of the details. I don't. So I'm not going to sit here and preach like I know everything from A to Z. But from what I have gathered, and from talking to women in the women's hockey community, talking to different perspectives, the way that I have viewed this and the way that I see this is Erika Nardini wanted this league to grow, wanted these women to grow in their likeliness. Now, if the NWHL was smart, you don't have to like Erika. You don't have to like Barstool. Use her. Okay? Use her. Okay? As an athlete, as a former college athlete, that my university that I played for used me and profited off of me to make money. NWHL, do the same to her. Use her likeliness, use her platform, use her fan base to help grow the game, because at the end of the day, it's about the women. And I think that's the message that is being lost here, and that's the part that sucks the most, is we're having a conversation about not liking a person, an organization, and a thing, when the truth of the matter is, because of all of this bullshit, it hurts the women. I think the league is done, or something happened with them. Okay. So guess who got hurt? The women did. The players did. The athletes did. The athletes who probably spent countless hours a day on a rink, in a gym, losing sleep, okay, fueling their bodies properly, losing time with their family and friends. They're the ones who are hurting the most because of this. Because we let everyone's ego and pride get in the way of, I need to be right, you're wrong, I'm right. And now they're the ones hurting, and they're the ones suffering because of this. Do you feel good about yourself because of that? Does it feel good to be right? I'm not in the business of being right. That's not what I do. If I wanted to be right, I would have been a lawyer, or I'd be Stephen A. Smith. Okay. It's not me. It's not who I am. I'm in the business of growing. I'm in the business of evolving. I'm in the business of looking at things from a different perspective, from a different lens, and trying to understand that. That's my business. That's what I do. And I just feel bad for these girls, because for the first time, people were talking about women's hockey. They were on NBC Sports Channel. You know, it wasn't obviously massive. It makes me so mad when we as a society let our pride and let our ego get in the way of doing what's right. Okay. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most. And this comes back to cancel culture. I don't like your opinion, so we're just going to fucking cancel it. Look back in history. It's how you learn. Like, You have to, we need all of these things, whether we like them or not, because that is the only way we grow. It is the only way we evolve. It is the only way we become wiser people. You have conversations. They're tough conversations, but they're conversations that need to be had. It's been a weird week for me. It's been one fucking storm after another. It's like right when you think you kind of get up, and the anxiety that has been in my chest because of this. And it's not just like the anxiety that I feel. I've literally had to do like mantras to myself to calm myself down, because I literally wake up and my chest feels like it's about to rip out of my heart. It's in that much pain. I don't even know if this makes sense. I hope it makes sense. And the reason why I wanted to come on this is because, we just need to talk to each other. We need to have more open dialogue. And when I say open dialogue, I mean you listen to listen. You don't listen to speak. Just listen to a person. Like really listen to them. And I think we've lost that. We've lost it. And so I don't know. I really think the answer is so simple, because life is simple. And it's just listen. Stop canceling people. Lead with curiosity. If you don't understand or agree with someone's perspective, instead of unfollowing them, instead of canceling them, instead of wanting to get rid of them, why don't you ask them? Just ask them. I didn't get to the way I view life like that. It wasn't like one day I woke up and I was like, this is the way I view life and this is my perspective. There have been a lot of things that have happened to me in my life, good, bad, that have led me to view things the way I view them. Guys, my mom's one of 9 siblings, okay? I have 21 first cousins, and I have 22 second cousins and counting, with 2 babies on the way, one due this month and one due in June. That doesn't include spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends. So in total, Christmas, which is the holiday we all get together, we were at 74 people total. Okay. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of personalities. It's the most beautiful thing on the planet. People always ask my mom, despite them being such a big family, they all get along. And people don't understand that. And I think the one thing, again, my perspective, my viewpoints, at the end of the day, none of us all agree on everything. There's 75 people. How do you expect us to agree on everything? Like, again, I understand why my uncle, who worked for the state's attorney's office, views life the way he views them. I also understand why my aunt, who was a special ed teacher, views life the way she views them, and why my cousin views life one way. And, like I get it. I get it. There's a lot of us. Does that mean I hate them? No, not at all. I love them. I get it. I may not agree with it, but at the end of the day, we can sit down, talk, agree to disagree, and still share a drink. And you can too. Just put your pride and your ego aside for a second and just listen to them. That's it. Oh, all right. I think I'm done. Yeah. I hope this helps. I don't know if it will. I don't know. But I think it was a conversation that needed to be had. At least for me, it was. So yeah, that's the show today. It's going to be a short one. So again, guys, you don't have to agree with everything that every person says. You don't. Maybe just understand how they got there. It's your challenge for today. It's your challenge for the week. Let's take the time to realize that we have way more in common with each other than we have different. I promise you it's the truth. You just have to take the time to look. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Take care.
Hey, everybody, it's closing time. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.